Okay, today we are going to review multiplication of whole numbers with multi-digits. So we're looking first, lesson 4.3 that you're looking at right now on page 177 is just reviewing multi-digit numbers times one-digit numbers. Okay, so that part's very simple. We're going to kind of zip through just a couple of examples before we jump over to lesson 4.4. So we're going to be reviewing just basic multiplication. Now, you guys have already been practicing this. I think we've had some in some bell ringers recently because I said that's coming up. So we're going to go through kind of quickly. We're going to skip a lot in lessons 4.3 and 4.4 because most of it is just review at this point, okay? Where we really start to get confused is whenever we add all those partial products. Okay, you heard that today in our bell ringer because we had the area model, just like what you're looking at right now on page 177. We had something just like that. We talked about how each of those areas of each piece of that model is called a partial product. Okay, we're going to talk a lot. You're going to hear me say that a lot today, tomorrow, and the rest of this week when we're doing multiplication. Because no matter whether you have an area model or if you do it the standard way that you know how to multiply, you are working with partial products, okay? A partial product is whenever you multiply a factor times a piece of that number. So I want you to look at this first example. I want you to see, okay, this is what I'm multiplying in standard, like that's my standard algorithm form, but this is my area model. What do you notice about each number up here and the top number in my standard algorithm form? What do you notice?
They all have sevens, and then one of them is a 5.
Okay, so they have sevens, and then the last little piece is a 5. How does that relate? How does this up here relate to this number here? How are those related?
Oh. Because it's the hundreds, and then there's the tens, and then you got the ones.
Yep, I have a 7 in the hundreds place, I have a 7 in the tens place, and I have a 5 in the ones place.
Like
This is, oh, say it again.
Kind of like expanded.
It is expanded form. That is exactly it. So when you're working with area models like that, you are expanding out your numbers and then multiplying those partial products. So since I only have one digit here, that's why it's just one row. Okay, on your warm-up, some of them were 2 digits and you had 2 rows, remember? Okay, so this would be like 700 times 4. So that's my first partial product. I'm going to write, oh wait, no, sorry. Notice how they color-coded it. Okay, do you see how the orange is here, pink is here, and green is here? Okay, green goes first because I always start with my ones digit. Just like when you learned to subtract, when you learned to add, you always start in that ones column. Okay, so I'm going to start there, and I'm going to do 4 times 5, which is 20. Okay, now these are area model partial products. So this is going to look a little different than our standard algorithm form in just a second. Okay, my next one would be like if I were multiplying 4 times 70. It'd be like if I took 4 times 70, which is 280, because 4 times 7 is 28, and then you put that 0 at the end. Okay, and then the last one would be like if I were doing 4 times 700, and I know 4 times 7 is 28.
So that'd be 2,800.
It'd be 2,800. And notice how all of my digits line up. My ones digit all line up. So it's 0. My tens digit, 2 plus 8 makes 10. Carry my 1. And then 1 plus 2 plus 8 is 11. Carry my 1. And then 1 plus 2 is 3. So 3,100. Do y'all see how the area model matches up? I'm breaking it apart, expanding that number out. It's like I stretched it out. And each part of this area model is showing the value of each digit in my number. Yes?
Why don't you just do like the normal?
We're going to.
Oh, okay.
But you have to also, and we're not going to spend a lot of time with area models. I just want you to understand what it is because you're going to see it and you gotta know what it's showing you. Yeah. Okay? All right, the next one, you'll want to go ahead and like write those partial products out. Go ahead with your group and do the green one first. So 6 times 7 is, write that answer in the green box, 42. And then 6 times 80 goes in the pink box. Six times 80, which is 480. And then 400 times 6. Okay. Did you get these partial products? 42, 480, and 2,400. So now you would add all those pieces up to create the entire product. So I have a 2 in the ones, 12, carry my 1, 9, and 2. So this blue box right here is like this entire area combined of this rectangle. Okay, that's that entire thing combined. But
So I get how we're like using the like this number, but what does this number have to do with it?
so she's asking what this top number has to do with it. Notice again up here, it's breaking it apart in expanded form. It's taking 487 and expanding it out. So I have 4 hundreds, I have 8 tens, and I have 7 ones. So that's what it's showing. But now we're gonna do, oh man, neither one of these are the same. I was hoping that one of these would be the same. Okay, I want to work this out just in the standard algorithm form. So let's look at the one we just did. 487 times 6. We're just going to write this off to the side. And we're going to solve this the way we know to just normally solve it. Okay? Because this is what we're going to practice over and over and over as a standard algorithm. So I know that 6 times 7 is 42, and I would carry my 4. Then 6 times 8 is 48, but I got to add the 4 that I carried. So 48 plus 4 is what? 52, and then carry that 5 over. And then 6 times 4 is 24, plus the 5 is 29. Okay, that's your standard algorithm. We're going to practice that the majority of the time. The only reason I started with the area models is because you do have to recognize it. You do have to understand what it's showing you, but you're not going to be solving every multiplication problem by drawing it out, okay? That will take forever, and that is really not efficient for your time. Okay, so let's look at the next page. We're going to scroll on down. So then, well, I'm scrolling down. You're flipping the page. You're looking at page 478. Okay, at the very top of that page, what you're going to notice is the standard algorithm. So it's showing you and explaining to you how to multiply. So you're taking this first digit, you're going to multiply the ones place. 4 times 3 is 12, and you carry your 1. It's very similar to adding with regrouping, where you carry that tens digit over, okay? Then you're going to jump over and you're going to say, okay, well, now I'm going to do 4 times 1, which is 4, and then add that 1 up there, so you get 5. The last thing I do is take that number and multiply by the hundreds place. I just multiply it by each part on the top number, okay? Any questions so far on the standard algorithm with 1 digit? Cool, easy peasy. Let's try 1 through, let's do the odds, 1, 3, and 5. So with your tables, I want you to do 1, 3, and 5. Try them on your own, and then check with each other and see how you guys did.
I'll do one with the.
Okay, we're going to check over it. So number 1, you should have 102. Yeah? Cool. Number 3, notice it gave me my little blue boxes up there to give me a guide and a little hint that I need to be carrying something into those blue boxes. So 4 times 3 is 12, carry my 1. 6 times 3 is 18, plus that 1 makes 19, and I have to carry a 1 again. And then 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 makes 10, so 1,092. Number 5, on this one, it's 3,637 times 6. So I'm going to be multiplying this 6 by all of these top numbers. There's no blue boxes on the top this time, so I need to be very careful. Okay, first, 6 times 7. What is 6 times 7?
42.
42, and I carry that 4 up above. Then I do 6 times 3, which is
18.
plus 4, 22. Carry the 2 up above. Then I do 6 times 6, which is 36, plus 2, 38, and carry that 3 up above. And then 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3, which is 21,822.
I got 18.
How are we doing with just 1 digit?
Good.
Pretty good? Okay. Let's look. Do y'all want to do one more on here? just to practice? Try 6. Try 6, and then I'll check it with you in just a second. If you already did it, and you want to do a couple more, you can.
9 times 7 is 63.
When you're done, you can look up at the board and check to see how you did. You got what? You got 34 and, oh, okay. Okay, 34,377. I only had to carry over 1 digit on this one. Okay, let's move down. Actually, I'm moving down. You're gonna flip. You're gonna flip a lot, actually. Oh, where is my... Okay, we are gonna look now at page 183. So you're gonna flip over to lesson 4.4. We're looking at 183, and you're gonna notice those area models again, but this time it looks kind of like the one from our bell ringer. If you're having side conversations with your group mates, now is the time to end those and really pay attention, because this is where we start multiplying by a double digit, okay? So I want you to notice how many columns versus how many rows I have in this area model that you see on the board. Okay, how many columns do I have? I have a column here.
2 columns.
I have 2 columns, okay? Together, this makes a 2-digit number. 30 and 5 makes 35. Okay, over here I have 3 rows. I have 3 numbers, so that means I have 3 parts to a whole numbers. I have 100, 80, and 2. All together, this is expanded, makes 182. So this problem is represented right here. Okay, notice they're all color-coded. I've got red, orange, green, purple, blue, and pink. Okay, I'm starting with pink. Why? Why would I be starting with pink? What is that representing?
Smallest.
It's the smallest.
Ones.
It's the ones, okay? The 2 and the 5 are both in the ones place. So I want to multiply those 2 numbers first. So starting with 2 times 5. Now I'm using this area model. I'm not doing it the standard way. Okay, I'm looking and I'm finding the value of each section of this area model. Okay, so 2 times 5 makes 10. So this little section here is 10. Then I move to the purple. So that is showing me 5 times 8, or 5 times 80, because 8 is in the tens place. So we know 5 times 8 is 40. And then we have to add an extra 0. So it'd be 400. So this is 400. And then I want to do the 5 times 1. But that 1 is actually representing how much? 100. So 5 times 100 is 500. So this is my ones column. Do you notice how it's the far right side?
Yeah.
Okay, it's also right here, the far right side. It's the number that I start with. That's why I multiplied 5 times the 2, 5 times the 80, and then 5 times the 100. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start down at the 3. Okay, the 3 is in the tens place, but I've got to multiply it by all of my top numbers, starting with the ones place. So I'm going to take my 3, I'm going to do times, 30 times the 2, right. So 30 times 2 is 60. So this little teeny tiny blue section is going to be equal to 60. To find the area of the green section, I'm going to do 80 times 30, which is, well, 8 times 3 is 24.
240.
And then I've got 2 zeros. So it's
2,400.
2,400. And then for the orange section, I'm doing 100 times 30. I know 1 times 3 is 3. And then how many zeros do I have?
3.
1, 2, 3, 0. So this is equal to 3,000. Okay, now these are all of my partial products for an area model. Now I'm going to add them all together, and that gives me the whole area of this entire thing. My ones column is 0. My tens column is 7. My hundreds column, I have 4 plus 5, which is 9, plus 4 more, which is 13. Carry my 1 to my thousands column, and then 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. Okay, now we're going to look at our standard algorithm. Again, we're not going to spend a ton of time multiplying numbers by drawing it and breaking it apart like this. Okay, what I want you to be really efficient at is a standard algorithm. You have to understand this. If you were given a problem like this, you would have to know how to solve it. And we're going to be practicing this in that first column of our bell ringer every single day this week. You're going to see it again and again and again. Okay? All right, moving on down. This one is our standard algorithm. So what I want you to notice on this page is that there are 2 rows when I have a 2-digit number. So when I multiplied my top number by 1 digit, I just had my answer, right? Mm-hmm. But notice that whenever I have times 2 digits, I have 2 rows. Mm-hmm. These are called my partial products again. My partial products look different whenever I do the standard algorithm version versus the area model version. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply my ones digit by all of the top numbers. That's what they did right here in this first step. They took the 2, see how it's highlighted red? And they did 2 times 2 to get 4. Then 2 times 1 to get 2. And then 2 times 3 to get 6. So this is my first partial product. Everybody with me so far? Okay. To get my second partial product, I'm going to multiply the tens digit. What I like to do is I like to put my 0, the hero, I bring him back, and I put a little slash through this 0 here, so I know that that's my placeholder 0. If you forget a placeholder 0, and you just start multiplying 8 times 2, and you put your 6 here, are you going to end up with the correct answer? No. So how important is that placeholder 0? Very important. Very, very important. Because if you forget it, your answer is going to be completely wrong. Okay? That is the number one most missed thing when I start looking at multi-digit multiplication is we are forgetting that 0, the hero. So don't forget him. Once I have him there, then I'm just going to go ahead and multiply that tens digit by all of my top numbers just like I did with the ones. So I'm going to do 8 times 2. That's 16, carry the 1. 8 times 1 is 8 plus the 1. That's how I get this 9. And then I do 8 times 3. I still go from the ones all the way over until I finish multiplying it by all the top digits. Okay? Now, notice right here, I'm going to add those 2 partial products together. So I add those together, and I end up with the final product of 25,584. Okay? Notice it says estimate up here. This is a really good skill because I want you to make sure that you're getting the right answer. Because we're still getting in the habit of this 0, the hero, and the process steps, it is important that you check your answer for reasonableness. We've talked about that a lot. Is your answer reasonable? Does it make sense? Okay? If I forgot my 0, the hero here, and I just added this together, my answer would be closer to like 3,000. But if I estimate and I look at these numbers and I say, okay, well, 312 is close to 300. This is close to 80. I know that 3 times 8 is 24. It should be close to like 24,000. If I end up with a number close to 3,000, I did something wrong. And that's when I need to go back and see, oh, whoops, I forgot 0, the hero. Okay? So when it says estimate, it is really important that you check whether your answer makes sense. Okay? Our directions say so we need to make sure we do it. All right. Let's do a little bit of practice together. The first row has boxes for us. It's kind of guiding us. So we're gonna do number 1 together. And I'm gonna let you and your group do number 2. Then we'll do 3. And then we'll try a couple more, okay? All right, let's look at number 1. Number 1 says 31 times 82. I'm gonna use 2 different colors to keep it. And if you wanna use different colors, you should have your supply bag with you with color pencils, or you can use a red pen from the bucket and your pencil if you wanna have 2 different colors. Okay, the first one I'm going to multiply is the ones digit. So I'm gonna take the 2 and the ones digit, and I'm gonna multiply it by both of my top numbers. So 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 times 3 is 6. My first partial product is, nope, put that back, is 62. Okay, now my next one. I can't start multiplying yet. What do I need to put? 0, the hero. Okay, now I can start multiplying the 8. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. These are my 2 partial products. Now I have to add them together. So just add like you would normally add. And my answer is 2,542. Now, if I want to check for reasonableness, this is how I would do that. I'm going to estimate 31 to 30. And I'm going to round 82 to what? 80. And 30 times 80 would be close to 2,400. Is my answer reasonable?
Yes.
Yeah. Did y'all see how that works? Okay. I want you right now by yourself to solve this box right here. What am I multiplying to get this partial product? Look at my colors again. This digit is red. What am I multiplying that by to get my first partial product? And then we'll check it. Work it on your paper. When you're ready, you can look up at the board to see if you've got that first partial product correct. Show me your thumb how you did on that first one. Did we all get the first partial product good? No. Okay, what do we need to do before we start finding that second partial product? Jeb? 0 the hero, gotta do it. Okay. Something I like to do when I add my 0 the hero is I like to come up and cross out everything I just used. So I cross out my ones digit so I don't get it confused, and I cross out everything I carried across the top when I multiply that ones digit. That way I have a clean slate. Okay, now I'm gonna start multiplying my tens digit. So 2 times 8. And this should be my second partial product. Once you have that, then you just add them together. And you should end up with 1,450. To check it for reasonableness, I know that 58 is pretty close to 60, and 25 I would round up to 30. Okay, 6 times 3 is 18, so that'd be about 1,800. 1,450 is pretty close to 1,800. I'm in the ballpark. Okay, they're close. I rounded up quite a bit on 25, so it's to be expected that my estimation is going to be higher. Okay, do y'all want to try number 3 on your own?
Yes.
Okay, try number 3, and then we'll check it. Uh-oh, I messed up. Oh no, I did that right. I was looking at the wrong number. I thought I messed up. I had it right. Now I have to re-add my numbers. Okay, so number 3 again, 1,794. Okay, let's keep working. Now I have a 3-digit times a 2-digit number. So we're gonna do this one together. Everybody be with me. If you still have 2 colors, great. Use 1 color for your first partial product, okay? I'm going to multiply the 3 in the ones place. This is going to get multiplied to all of my top digits. So I'm going straight up here, then over here, and then over to here, okay? What is 3 times 8?
24.
24. Carry my 2. Now I've got to do 3 times 4, which is 12 plus the 2 that I carried.
14.
That's 14. Guys, I need everybody doing this. I know some of you are probably like, I know this, I get this, or some of you are like, this is too confusing, I'm going to check out and not pay attention, and that's where we start getting into trouble. Okay, if you fall behind now, we're going to fall behind the rest of it. You've got to be able to do this before we can do whole number multi-digit division. So it's practice, practice, practice. We've talked about it a lot. Okay, you practice your sport, you practice your activities outside of school, you've got to practice your schoolwork too. Math is a lot of practice. Okay, that last spot, 3 times 2 is 6, plus the 1 that I carried makes 7. Okay, this is my first partial product. Now, I'm going to mark everything out that had to do with that ones digit after I put my 0 the hero. Okay, so I have 0 the hero, cross out that ones digit and the things that I carried with it. Now I'm focusing on the 4 in the tens place. You can work ahead of me and then check, but I need everybody practicing with me and following along if you are waiting, okay? If you're with me, you're with me. If you're working ahead, that's fine. All right, 4 times the ones digit, going all the way back to the right. 4 times 8 is 32. And I'm going to carry my 3. Now I'm going to go straight up. 4 times 4 is 16, plus the 3 that I carried is how much? 19. And carry that 1 over here. Then 4 times 2 is 8, plus the 1 that I carried, which makes 9. Okay, I'm going to add these together. And yep, 10,664. Now, if I were to use estimation to check my answer for reasonableness, this first problem, 248, is pretty close to 250. This bottom number is pretty close to 40. So I could just pretend like these zeros aren't here for a minute. And what's 25 times 4? 100. And then I want to put these 2 zeros at the end. So it's about 10,000. Does that make sense for the answer that I have? Yeah, they're close. Okay. I'm going to let you and your group try 5 together. And then you're going to try 6 on your own and check with your group. So work with your group together on 5. Try 6 on your own. 10,160. Okay, right here, actually, it's 3 times 3 is 9, plus the 2 makes 11. So it's 11,160, which is close to this answer here.